Born in 2014, died in 2018. The abbreviated life of Aniya Day-Garrett was punctuated with neglect and abuse. But today, nearly a full year after her death, justice with a verdict of guilty on all counts. Aniya's killers, her own mother, Sierra Day, and her mother's boyfriend, Deonte Lewis, both now face the possibility of life without parole after a jury found them both guilty of aggravated murder. News 5's Jordan Vandenberg has been following this case from the very beginning. It's been heartbreaking, so heartbreaking, Jordan. And the attorney for Aniya's father says others need to be held responsible now as well.
And specifically the Cuyahoga County Division of Children and Family Services. And Michael Garrett's attorney says today's verdict was only the first step in holding everyone involved accountable. March 2018. Deonte Lewis and Sierra Day sat stoically just feet away.
The attorney will witness your signature.
Michael Garrett's emotions overflowed. Lewis and Day had been charged with the death of 4-year-old Aniya. And when their arraignment was over, Garrett grew tired of Lewis's passing glances.
Kill my daughter!
A year later, the jury agreed.
To find the defendant Sierra Day guilty of aggravated murder. To find the defendant Deonte Lewis guilty of aggravated murder.
Whenever a child is harmed in our communities, we want to get justice for them. So we are pleased that this process worked the way it did.
The guilty verdict on all counts was the emphatic ending to a trial that spanned 6 days in a case that spanned nearly a year. Prosecutors presented evidence that Lewis and Day slowly siphoned the life out of Aniya through abuse, neglect, and malnourishment.
This is the first step in responsibility and accountability for Aniya's death.
For Aniya, today is a day for her spirit to be at peace. People finally listened to her, and she was heard.
But records suggest Aniya was not heard by county social workers on multiple occasions in her abbreviated, abuse-ridden life. A state review found the Cuyahoga County Division of Children and Family Services failed Aniya at seemingly every turn. Caseworkers discredited Aniya's own statements. They failed to follow established policies, and they failed to follow up, according to the review. Perhaps the most egregious error noted in the state's review was that county caseworkers failed to pick up records from Aniya's daycare, which documented a history of injuries and suspicions that she was being abused.
Everyone has a responsibility in our community to do your job. There are some who did their job. I applaud the Euclid Police Department for doing their job.
And others?
I applaud the Euclid Police Department for doing their job.
There are certainly other responsible parties that will be held accountable. The system failed Aniya and the Garrett family, and that system will be held accountable.
It could be argued that Children and Family Services may have failed Aniya, but the criminal justice system did not. Prosecutors say they never lost sight of the braided girl with the disarming smile, and neither did her father.
For me, as a citizen of this community, it's important to represent every victim, every child. They all matter to me. They all matter to every prosecutor in this office.
County officials point to the reforms that were made in the wake of Aniya's death. Those reforms include hiring more social workers and bringing in retired law enforcement to help with those investigations. An oversight board was also created. Lewis and Day will be sentenced on March 20th. Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.